Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Fiona and I love to knit. I knit 3 sweaters in under 3 months. I want to talk about the process that it took to knit them, my review of the pattern and the yarn that I used, and finally, some ideas about how I would style them. Let's go! Okay, first up is the Ginger Sweater by Adorable Knits. I made this sweater in Berroco Ultra Alpaca in the color Candied Yam. It is truly ginger, as the name describes, and I really love how this color complements the cables. I started this sweater on March 20th, and I finished it on April 15th, on tax day. Yay! So, this is the sweater. She is her, she is everything. I would wear this sweater every day if I could, if it wasn't so warm. But I finished it in April, so I have a little bit of a harder time finding opportunities to wear it at the moment because it's summer, but you know that this winter it will be showing up a ton. I chose this pattern because I love 2 things in this world. 1, working in a top-down raglan, and 2, cables. And boy, backing up, this sweater is it. It is. It's both a top-down raglan and it is full of delicious cables that I just love how they have worked up. So I started this sweater and I was traveling around a bunch, so I had a lot of time to get a lot of work done initially on the collar and then the yoke. This was the first project when I finished it that I got really into taking good pictures of. I took a bunch of timer cam pictures around my apartment and then sent them to my boyfriend to edit in Lightroom, and that was really when I learned the magic of photo editing and how I can take one mediocre picture and turn it into something really, really jaw-dropping. I cross-posted it to my personal Instagram, and Berroco Yarn ended up liking the post and asking me if I could send them the pictures that I took, and they posted them in a reel that I got to be added as a collaborator with. So, my first being noticed. So yeah, that's this sweater. I finished it in April, so I haven't had a lot of opportunities to really mess around with styling it. I have really only worn it with my favorite pair of denim and to the office, so I haven't gotten to play around with styling it all that much, but that's the Ginger Sweater. Now we have the Lemon Fruity Sweater by Hip Knit Shop. The yarn is Fluff by Hip Knit Shop. This was part of a kit that she sells and that I asked my parents for Christmas. I'm gonna take the ownership on this. I asked them for it late, so they ordered it late, plus that it was international shipping, so it showed up after Christmas, after I had gotten home to the city, and so I didn't get to cast it on until I saw them again in March. So I started this sweater on March 26th, 2024, and I finished it on April 30th. So there's some overlap with the Ginger Sweater, but I like to work best where I have multiple projects, so I have different things that my brain can think about at the same time, because I get bored like that. As soon as I got my hands on this yarn, I immediately had to cast it on. This was my first real foray into color work. So it is worked from the top down, but the shoulder shaping and the back are worked separately. So the initial start is worked flat, whereas the rest of the body is worked in the round. So I was initially working this color work in Tarja with different bobbins of the colors, and I'm gonna put in a picture of what that looked like here. And that was a mess. I'm gonna be so for real with you. That was just a huge mess. And I immediately had to switch to floats when I got to working in the round. Ultimately, with the sleeves, I had to just make some adjustments so that way it wouldn't be too tight, and I ended up having to sew in so many ends, which was so not fun, but it looks great. this fabric that the fluff yarn makes is so squishy and breathable. It looks and feels even better in person than it does on camera, which is kind of nutty because it does look pretty awesome on camera. So to date, this is my most worn knit. It is a fantastic spring sweater. I have worn it over a dress. I have worn it with jeans. I can wear it with shorts. I bring it out on a night out and I can like pop it on after we're coming home from the bar. So as much as this sweater was kind of the bane of my existence while I was making it and I was like, I never want to look at this again, I put it on and I never took it off. You know what? Sometimes hard things are worth it. Next we have the Coravin Sweater by Strikikov. Excuse any butchering of those pronunciations. This yarn is Loops and Threads Facets in blue, I guess. I don't know if they have an exact name for the color. I started this sweater while watching the Women's March Madness bracket on April 1st, and I finished it on May 5th. So this sweater, I did not have much overlap with either of the previous two, but I had it planned to use up this Loops and Threads yarn, which was in my stash, and I decided to cast it on because, you know, sometimes you just need a little treat to cast something else on. I had made the corresponding vest, and so I wanted to make the sweater, but this yarn, actually, I said that the lemon sweater was the bane of my existence. This yarn was the bane of my existence. It is not plied, so it's like more akin to roving than it is to like a true worsted weight yarn, which meant that it kept getting like pulled apart in the tiniest annoying ways when I would go to try to pick up a loop with my needle. I just had some general concerns about the quality of the fabric. I love to work in a pattern. We saw that with the cables, we saw that with the color work, and then once again, this is also a pattern that repeats every couple of rows. It's just like a game for me, but this sweater was extremely tedious, and I ended up putting it on hold for a really, really long time before finally finding the motivation to come back and finish it, because like, what am I gonna do, abandon it? I do want to wear it, and working on the sleeves is really like the reason why it was on hold for so long. I have made several videos on my Instagram talking about how much working sleeves is a pain in the butt, but yep, I continue to make sweaters and work on tiny sleeves in the round. I will say, I wish these sleeves were a little bit longer. Do I want to go back and fix it? Not really. I'm hopeful that I can just block it out because I actually haven't blocked this sweater yet, and I think I might end up giving this to my friend, but she is a little bit taller and longer than me, so I'm not sure if these sleeves are gonna work. However, the cuffs are double knitted, and double knitting has very quickly become one of my favorite techniques to use for finishing a project because it's just so much sturdier and squishier than working regular ribbing. And like, I can really see this being like a nice durable sweater for even if you're doing anything with your hands. Like me, talking with my hands so much. We will see what this sweater's life ends up being, but honestly, like, what will I wear this with? I think that this is a super versatile sweater. I started knitting pullover sweaters like this because I mostly wear sweaters and leggings just around my house. I work from home. So this can just get added to that crew neck pullover collection if I end up deciding to keep it. And it'll look great with leggings, it'll look great with jeans. I can definitely put it over a dress, and it can be dressed up. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, hard things are worth it, and how can I hate something that I handmade even though it was really, really challenging at the time? Thank you so much for joining me into my first foray into YouTube, and checking out my most gorgeous sweaters with me. Let me know what you're working on in the comments, and if there's anything else you'd like to see from me moving forward. I am just so excited to try this out and get to talk to you about my knitting. So thanks so much. Bye.